So let's talk a little bit about crowdsourcing. How are you using it? How do you define it? And how do you think it's applicable for your part of the business in advertising?
Well, I think really it's more of a collaborative, it's more of a collaboration today between marketers and consumers. It's no longer, a top-down approach. It's almost like a bottom-to-up approach, and that the internet has really made this more of a level playing field, more of a democratization, if you will. And so the whole strategy of building brand awareness and trying to sell product is while it's still important and viable, I think it's also how consumers experience what the brand and product is, and how they share that experience with other consumers. And you've seen whether it's through blogs or whether it's videos on YouTube or any other or social networks. I mean, or any other type of internet applications. That these things that increasingly crowds or consumers are more and more in control of the success of a product.
It sounds like crowdsourcing is word of mouth squared.
Well, it is. I always find that of the irony in all of this new technology is that the oldest media, word of mouth and out of home, are having a renaissance. It's funny that radio is, we've read about broadcast radio and newspapers and certainly and how they're kind of like struggling in this new era of media that we're entering. But word of mouth is more powerful than ever before, and billboards and out of home and using the fourth screen rather with place-based advertising and guerrilla marketing. I mean, all of these are just wonderful opportunities for marketers that have been fueled by technology.
And how do you effectively measure this?
Well, I think that's something that's a work in progress. I think really, sometimes you can have some internal numbers and you advertise here and doesn't move the needle, and certainly that's something that marketers may have internally to see how impactful the strategy is. Certainly the internet with word of mouth, you can constantly measure whatever type of buzz or whatever type of noise is online about a product. But there's no real, what I would say, one size fits all, I think, just yet. I think companies are trying to do that. There are buzz metrics in place. I think out of home is a little bit harder to measure. It's always been, even traditional out of home has always been very difficult to measure. And we're starting to see, again, them try to change change the metrics of how out of home is measured with regards to reach and frequency. But I also think that that this is expanding into in-store product placement and kind of like guerrilla marketing, and that's a little bit harder. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, how many ads a person is exposed to a day is a moving target, and there's no one number. And I know people have tried to come up with a number, but that number is increasing. And I think as we get more and more bombarded with ads, these type of guerrilla marketing efforts are going to continue, because I think the point of all of this is if you see an ad where you don't expect to see an ad, you're going to remember it. And I think that's what it's all about.